Hi, welcome to Let's Talk. Today I'm joined by Neil from Dundee Libraries. Hi, Neil.
Morning, Claire.
Hi, thank you for joining me today.
Not a problem.
So, Neil, can you tell us a bit more, please, about the at-home library service?
The at-home library service, right. It's for people who are resident and living within the Dundee City Council boundaries. I'm aware that the remit of the carer centre is probably slightly wider than the local authority area. So we can refer on. So we're not speaking about areas like Monifieth and Llanforgan. They are different areas, but we do have contacts within other different library authorities that could help. But this specifically is for people who are living within the Dundee City Council boundary. My acid test, this will make people laugh, is who empties your bins? If you're emptied by Dundee City Council, you're eligible for the Dundee City Council.
That's a good way to put it.
Leisure and Culture Dundee Library Service, you're eligible for that. I also jokingly sometimes refer to this as the Books on Legs service, because what it is, it's basically bringing library resources to you in your own home, whether that be in a care home, whether that be in sheltered housing, you're in your own property, it doesn't matter so long as you live within the Dundee City Council area. We operate on a 3-weekly basis. We've got 11 delivery days over that 3-week period. Generally, all the deliveries are between 9:30 and 4:30, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We don't deliver at weekends, and we don't have a delivery day on Wednesday. That's one of our main prep days. Once you're assigned to a delivery, we will discuss when we get an initial referral from a customer what day best suits them. So don't think we just tell you it will be like Thursday afternoon. We can negotiate with individual customers on referral points what best suits them. We can work around like medical appointments, personal appointments. Kind of some people have got family commitments. If they're in a caring situation, we've got one lady who's recently joined the service. Her sister comes on a Monday. The lady herself is bedbound, so we had to make the delivery on a Monday. So we can work with carers on that basis.
Very flexible.
Doorstep deliveries are preferred, but as I've just discussed, in some cases we know that the individual can't come to the door, so you can go into a kitchen or a living room. We're still mindful of COVID restrictions, so we kind of carried them on, although COVID hopefully is in the distant past now. But we do recognise as well, I just had my flu jab yesterday, we do recognise we try and avoid close contact with customers for that reason. We're going from door to door. So we do see it between 6 and a dozen customers on each delivery run in the morning or an afternoon. It's a small team of 5. We try and keep the team small. So once you're on the service, you will get to know the staff concerned. So don't feel we're like Asda or Tesco. You don't know which delivery driver you're going to get. You will get to know the staff because we come out on a regular basis. For example, if you're assigned to a Thursday, it will always be Mandy and Alan that come out. Alan is the driver, so most people will probably see Alan at some point anyway. And the rest of the team, there's Kay, Audrey, Mandy, and myself. That's the other 4. We all go out on delivery days as well. Audrey is always fixed on a Friday. Kay always does a Monday morning. So you would get used to the staff. And we make that consistent because we recognise in some cases we're dealing with vulnerable people. They want the reliability that they know who's going to be turning up at their door. We always work in pairs. That's just how we do for safety. And we will work with other agencies as well. So we try and promote the at-home services widely. This is another example of how we promote the service. We try and promote it with external parties because they are probably dealing with the individuals who would benefit from the service. By definition, a lot of our referrals haven't come to the library for a number of years because mobility has gone. They lack the independence to get out on their own. Maybe it's a confidence issue. Yeah. We have had referrals from people who have just stopped using the library for a couple of years before they even find out about us. But the service has existed for years. We got through COVID. We don't have a mobile service anymore. We moved the customers over from the mobile to the at-home service if it was appropriate. I've just recently done the annual report for the senior management. As of December, at the end of 2024, we had 178 individual customers on the service.
Wow, very good.
And I think it was 9 couples or pairs. I used that. It's not specifically couples. In one case, we've got a mother and a daughter. It's usually, to be honest, husband and wife or partners, but we would quite happily welcome anybody else to service in those situations. So carers and those cared for, we can provide resources for both of them.
Wow, Sounds amazing. And a service that I wasn't aware of, Neil. I regularly go to the library with my children, and I didn't know about this, and it sounds great. Yeah, and it seems that you cater for a wide range of people and different people with different needs as well. So that's good. So what type of material are you taking out to people? What can you take out to people, Neil?
Yeah, the library service itself, we do maintain a range of digital resources, but that's potentially a talk for another Let's Talk session. This is the physical resources we can actually deliver to you. And again, sometimes there's maybe misconceptions here. We deliver what we call ordinary print. That would be an ordinary hardback or paperback you would buy from the likes of Waterstones. But we also have resources in large print format. So if anybody's got eyesight difficulties, we've got customers who have got macular degeneration, we've got customers who are waiting for cataract operations. We can provide things in large print. Large print is roughly twice the size of what a paperback print would be. We've also got audiobooks in CD format, and we can provide a CD player to customers. We successfully bid to the Common Good Fund with Dundee City Council a few years ago, so we've got a range of CD players that we can give to customers to get them started, or even just trial the service. Because if you're used to reading, moving on to an audio format is somewhat different. Some people take to it, some people don't, but it's worth having a go. So we can give you the CD player just to get you going, and that has helped people in a lot of cases. The common misconception here is that because books come in large print and audio formats, every book is available in large print and audio format, the same as ordinary print. Unfortunately not. The range is somewhat restricted, but that's part of the discussion when we get a referral to the service. We discuss what format the customer is looking for. We've got customers who take a mixture of media, as I would call it. They maybe take ordinary print, they maybe like a hardback through the day because the book will sit open on the table, but at night they maybe want an audiobook to play at night when they're in bed. I've got one lady I was out to yesterday, again, she takes a mixture of large print and ordinary print because she's all right reading large print, ordinary print through the day, but she needs large print in the evening because the light's not so good. So we can mix and match. It's up to you. Don't feel that you just have to ask for hardbacks. You can do hardbacks and paperbacks. You can do paperbacks and audio. It's very flexible. We also have an exclusive but a small collection of large piece jigsaws that is only available for customers who have registered on the at-home service. We invested in that a few years ago when we were more about, it's not just about reading, it's about keeping yourself occupied. It's about kind of mental health, keeping yourself busy, and even just doing a jigsaw. They're all mostly 250, but we do have some 500-piece jigsaws. And we've currently got, I think it's about 4 of our customers are taking them on a regular basis. So don't think it's just about reading. We can bring you other things as well. I usually at the point of referral ask the customers what their favourite authors are or what it is they're looking for from the service, and that's part of the discussion as we've just outlined. Because it's a 3-week delivery pattern, I usually say to the customers, right, how many books, if it is reading you're interested in, how many books should you get through in a week? Multiply it by 3, and we usually add in a couple more. We always over provision at the beginning because we recognise as well, we've to get to know the customer, they've to get to know us. So some of the things that we put into boxes, they may be, oh, I don't like that. That's still positive feedback for us. We often get a lot of people saying, I like Daniel Steele or James Patterson. They're the most well-known and prolific authors, but unfortunately they don't write books every 3 weeks. So we have to, by definition, start to introduce kind of our customers into different authors, still sticking within the same genres, because that's where we would normally discuss it. Maybe a case of, right, do you want crime? How much Scottish crime if you want? Right, maybe try this one. You maybe not heard of that one, but that's part of our bread and butter with the library service, to try and introduce people. Even if you walked in the library, we would try and give people recommendations of things they maybe haven't read or heard of before. Again, it's flexible. Some of our customers are taking just 2 or 3 books every 3 weeks. I have one lady, I have to think about Alan's poor back with this. There's one lady takes a box of 20 hardbacks every 3 weeks. That is difficult, just for the size quantity. But it's basically, it's up to the customer. The normal borrowing rules of what you would get if you walked in the library kind of go out the window because you're stuck you have to wait from the 3-week period to when we come back in 3 weeks. So it's all about what would keep that individual customer happy and occupied over that 3-week period. If you're not well, if something's come up, if you've had to go for a medical appointment, you've not got through everything, you just keep what you haven't read and we pick it up next time. So again, the amount we can deliver each week can go up, and every 3 weeks can go up and down. We just discuss that with the customer when we see them. So it is very, very flexible.
Yeah, and it's very centred to what that individual wants, isn't it, as well, which is good. It sounds like you do your homework beforehand, so you know exactly what that person's looking to get, and and a bit of some ideas as well, what they might like later on down the line. So great. Along with the material you did talk about, Neil, sorry, do you include some learning material in that as well, if there was somebody that was studying or they maybe needed to get some textbooks and that, things like that?
We can do to a point, but this is the difficulty that we've got. It's kind of usually when somebody comes in looking for kind of educational texts, we would direct them to the college or the university.
Okay.
The queries that we've got, often we don't have that kind of material. The learning material we've got might be like learning a different language. We don't have a lot of school textbooks because they're often out anyway. It's certainly worth asking to see what we've got. But I do remember one lady, and she was quite blunt with me. I stopped reading fiction when I was in my 40s. It's academic texts I'm after.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm sorry, we don't do that. I really would refer you to like the University of Dundee or Abertay for that. It is difficult. It's kind of reading for pleasure, social interest. I mean, some of our customers do take non-fiction, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of really they're reading just to enjoy themselves. It's more difficult when it's an educational need.
That's fine. I mean, at least you've got the signpost. You can tell people where to go if that was the case. That's fine. That's great. Now, is there an age limit for your service, Neil?
No, there isn't, and we'd really like some younger customers, if possible, in the service. The last time I looked at the customer base, I think our youngest customer was 50.
Right.
We by definition, and this is mostly historic, most of our customers are older. We have had a few customers in their hundreds. We've managed to get them that far. Certainly after lockdown, when I was looking, because I get the referrals, I deal with the referrals, and it's me you would speak to if when I was phoning out. All the referrals between the two lockdowns, they were all in their 80s. That's just how it worked. But we'd welcome to get some younger people. We do have a few people with kind of specific kind of learning needs. We've got a few people as well with kind of who don't like the term, but we do have one lady who's disabled. She's in a wheelchair, but she can still get out independently, but it helps that we can deliver to her. It's worth pointing out as well, even if you can get out, we can still bring the books to your own home if you would have difficulty transporting them home. Because especially this lady that I'm thinking about, she would never be able to take the quantity of books that she's wanting in her electric wheelchair. I mean, she's in the Craigiebank area. She's not that far from the library service, but there's no way she would be able to carry what she's wanting home with her. So, and again, it fits as well. Carers who are maybe stuck at home looking after their loved one, we can bring the resources to you. And if it's a case of, I think I could still get to the library, don't panic. We'll bring the resources out to you. And we do have one gentleman at the moment who's actually coming into the library and picking his own stock, and we then deliver them for him. So that is something we
half
could
and
look
half,
at.
isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly, like a hybrid. We go to he's in one of the sheltered housing complexes. We do a lounge collection there as well. But we can do that if somebody is kind of quite specific about what they want and they want the independence to pick their own books. You would have to come into Central for that. That's what this gentleman's doing, because that's where we are based. The at-home service is based in the Wellgate Library. But we can do that if somebody wanted to do that as well.
Good to know. Great. Now, how can people get involved then? How do they tap in and get involved in that home service?
Yeah, very simple. It's either give us a phone, my phone number 01382 431537, or you can email the department. It's a bit of a difficult one, I'm afraid. connections@leisureandculturedundee.com.
We'll pop all these details below in the comment section anyway, Neil, for people to pick up on them.
That's fine. You can also just walk into any library across the Dundee network, any of the public libraries, and they'll take your details and pass them on to me. And as I've already said, I will get back to the individual or sometimes it's easier to deal with kind of relative. I sometimes laugh about this. I've had a few shouted conversations down the phone with kind of somebody who's maybe slightly hearing impaired. It's stressful for me. It's stressful for the person, and they're usually okay. And if I'm standing in front of them, but I don't have capacity to go out on an initial visit to everybody.
No.
The first time you would see the staff is once you've joined the service and we're at your door with your first delivery. But we can usually have a 10-minute chat there about, is there anything we've missed? Is there anything else you want to know? The basic things I just go through when the customer comes on to service is what they're looking for, register their details, etc., etc.
Good. Okay. Now, you'd notice you did say you need to be a member. So do you need to have a library card to be a member, Neil?
Not as such. It's helpful if the customer has borrowed previously, because we have access to what they've seen, and that can give us an idea of what they would like. But part of the service, we will register you as when I phone you. That's why I'm saying I would take the customer's details, name, address, date of birth, and then it goes on to the more specifics of what is it you're looking for. So you don't need to worry about being registered with Dundee Libraries or not. We'll do that as part of the at-home service for you.
But can we just say that if you did want a library card, it's very accessible as well, isn't it? Just go into your local library and sign up for one there and then. So it's easy.
Most of our customers don't keep their own cards. We just keep their details on the computer system, because you don't physically need it. But if you wanted to go into the library and register, you could, and then we'll take your details from the card. You can just keep your card.
Great. Okay. And what is the cost, Neil?
Cost, absolutely free. Totally free. There's been no charge for this at all. By definition, we can't handle cash. I mean, if you walked into a library and across the network and made the request, you would be charged for that. We don't do that. So if somebody's looking for a specific book, because I'm the budget holder for At Home, I can buy the stock. Somebody's looking for something specific, I can say, yep, that's fine. We'll see if we can get it. If it's something I feel other customers in the service would be interested in. If it's something very specific, I can go and kind of chum up my colleagues in leisure reading in the Wellgate Library to see if they'll buy it, because it might go out in the wider circulation. But we don't charge customers for anything that we provide.
Well, it sounds great. It sounds really good, Neil. I mean, not everybody's got a library on their front doorstep. I know they're more in the community just now, but that might change in the coming months for certain places. So it kind of starts to be not very accessible for people to get to the library. So knowing they have got the service where they can still receive books every 3 weeks, get them collected, get them dropped off. I think it's really good for people. Like you say, it keeps people involved in things. And I suppose in a way as well, with you guys visiting these people and doing what you're doing, you build up that rapport as well. So it's like, oh, I'm going to see Neil and tomorrow he's dropping off the books. You know what I mean? You might be the only person they're going to see that day of that week. So it's quite sociable as well, and people are obviously keeping their own mental health well, and at the same time enjoyment from what they're reading.
We're very aware in some cases we are probably the only people that customer sees it all day, and in some cases it might be all week. That's just maybe a sad comment on our society, but that's why we will sometimes spend. We're not like Asda, it's not like the shops. It's not a case of here's your resources, right, we're off. We will spend 5 to 10 minutes with customers. How you doing? Is there anything you're needing? Talking about more. Okay, it's mostly about what they've got, to see what feedback they've got about the books. Have they enjoyed them? Is there anything they didn't like? But we have on occasion changed light bulbs. We've taken in shopping if it's sitting at the door. You don't feel that you can't ask. We're not a home shopping service. We're not going to go and do the shopping for you. Even opening, I think one of the most frequent ones was, can you help me open this tin can because I can't get the ring pull open?
Oh,
just ask. Just ask. We're not, it's not just about here's your books and off we go.
That's good to know, Neil. Well, yeah, it does. It sounds good. And what we'll do is we'll pop all the information in the comment section below. So contact details, email addresses, and any other bits and pieces that people would like to know about. And just get in touch. If you feel the service is for you and you would like to find out more, or you'd like to join or be a member, please get in touch with Neil and the team and they'll make it happen for you.
Yep, indeed.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Neil. I know there's lots of different things we could talk about with the library. I know there's lots going on in the library that we don't know about, and that's something we're going to do over time in the next few months. So we'll keep you posted with that on our social media channels. But thank you very much, Neil.
Thanks, Claire. Thanks.